You're listening to the Joint Sermons on the Push Media Podcast Network.
Iceberg, preceded by massive volcanic activity.
And listen, do you hear what I hear?
Yes. Surface hit me, said keys on the track. I've been working with Tretch on Black Cadillac, mixing hoes and pimping and shit like that. Already in the zone, turn on the microphone. You want drama? I got it, I'm always on one. I'm like fucking a fat bitch without a condom. I'm like waving a steak at an alligator. I'm 5 goons when you walk on the elevator. I'm old food in the back of your refrigerator. Pump the shotty, call me the masturbator. I blow so much dough, call me a hurricane. I shit diamonds, I piss champagne. My dick's hard as gold, cold as cocaine. You bought a little boat, I bought a submarine. I can't take it around, all you niggas simping. Hard on a bitch, came out the womb pimping. Put on a silk diaper, laid on my back. Knocked my mama's nurse and put her on the track. Iceberg!
Dude, I want a full album by these guys.
Yeah.
Everything. It's just dope.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. He's not lost a step. He's in his 60s.
Yeah.
He's an actor still.
He didn't sound dated on it at all either.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Chewed it.
No. Yeah. And you know what comes across it? You know how I say like Ice Cube, I say stop with the gangster stuff. You were never a gangster. It's not believable. None of it works. Like it worked when you were younger and angry and all that.
Yes.
And kudos for never being a gangster. Ice-T. Can't that same thing apply where I could say, stop it, you're older now, what's going on? But the thing is, it's because he's real. He's not, to me, he's not being like, look how gangster I am. He's just like, this is me. I've never changed. We all see that on Twitter, right? He's just the same guy. And it works. It comes off hard.
Yeah. Well,
Which
and
is
I think
him.
he
Which
also
is
has
him.
he also has the past to, qualify that. Like it's
Well,
I don't
yeah,
think
he's
it's any-
qualified. Yeah,
like
but
he was in the street, so. But
Oh,
yeah,
100%. But
he said he's 60, but it's more believable when I hear it from him. Plus, it's also, he like you said, he's an actor, and he obviously is just reverting back to that style of rap, and I want to hear more of it.
dude, he can, every time he raps, the last, I don't know, I want to say five or six rap tracks that I've heard him come out with, it's been amazing where I'm like, damn, I want a whole rap album again.
Yeah.
And I listen to the Body Count albums every time.
Yeah.
I listen to them every time. I do. But my thing is, he's so hard when he raps. It's ridiculous, dude. I want more of it. I don't care.
Yeah. No, I mean, and with the Body Count thing, I'm not a big thrash metal guy, so
That's fine.
it's good. It's just,
Well, you know what
not
he
for
said
me.
once? He says, you don't have to like everything I do. You just got to like something I do. Which is the absolute best freaking take and attitude. He has the best takes and attitude on Twitter.
Possibly,
And I mean, but he's not conceited. We're like a celebrity. He goes out and gets caught doing regular stuff, like when he was at a
Target or whatever.
he was at
like,
he was at IHOP once, and someone's like, "What are you doing at IHOP?" He's like, "I wanted pancakes, and that's where they sell pancakes."
and then somebody roasted him for being at Target. He's like, I need Target shit. What do you want me to do?
Yes, and then he was at Pathmark once, where someone's like, "Yo, I just met Ice-T at Pathmark," and he posted back this like a couple years ago, true story, and someone's like, "Yo, you're at Pathmark?" He's like, "Yeah, that's where they sell food."
Yeah.
Like they
People
but
are
I
just-
think the story was
they're
too, because
weird.
someone posted a picture of him pushing the cart with his daughter. I think she was a little baby at the time, or close to a baby at the time. While his wife was like in the cooler or something. It was like, I don't know, freezer cooler or whatever. And I'm like, okay, yeah, he's the father of that child.
Yeah.
He's pushing the cart.
That's
His
how grocery
wife is
carts
grabbing-
work.
And his wife's grabbing food. Like, he's a person.
Right.
Yeah.
Heck
Just
yeah.
you know what's cool about him though? Do you remember this when he got an Amazon package delivered to his house?
No.
And I guess it was closer to Christmas or something, because they were delivering late, like 11 o'clock at night.
No.
And well, this is when the individual drivers didn't have uniforms. So somebody just comes walking up and he grabbed his gun like, oh, who's coming up to my house, unannounced. And it turned out to be an Amazon guy. So he posted on there, Amazon, you need to get uniforms for your drivers. I almost shot your employee. And then like within a week, they all had uniforms.
Yeah. I mean,
That was great.
It makes sense.
Well, but here's my thing. At the time, I think Jeff Bezos was the richest man in the world, which, I'm told that means you're absolutely the smartest person ever. And I don't think it makes you the dumbest person. I'm just saying that's what they say. You're the smartest person ever. You didn't have the sense to go, you got to put a shirt on or something that says Amazon, maybe some reflective material. You're walking up to people's doors. Because I wouldn't even have taken your job and walked up to no one's door at 11 o'clock at night in the
No,
dark.
absolutely. Well, I don't even think they're categorized as employees. Like
Still, it doesn't matter.
I think they go through like a 3PL.
I think some do and some don't. But either way, no, I'm not. I don't. If I'm delivering Domino's pizza, I need to have a shirt and a hat because I'm not. I need people to know I'm the pizza guy you called for.
Yeah. Well, I
Not
mean,
a
and that's
random
just
dude.
that's just you would think that that's just common knowledge or like, common sense, but that I guess apparently went over his head and he was like, yeah, just send a guy in a random unmarked van to somebody's house. I'm sure nothing bad is going to happen.
Yeah. Can you imagine if he had shot the guy? Like
Yeah.
actually
I
had?
mean, if somebody's walking up to my house at like 11 p.m. at night and I don't know you and you're like coming to the door, yeah, there's probably going to be issues.
And the thing is, I mean, this guy gets up early to be on sets and stuff, and
Yeah.
I don't know, was he asleep and all of a sudden someone's walking up, so he jumps out of bed and he's not fully awake and he's reacting like I don't know what the situation was, but you can't just be like,
No.
who knows? His wife could have been like, "Oh my God, who's that?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and there's someone, holy crap, and he grabs a gun. Like, I don't know. Anyway, that's a dope album. I want more of that.
Yeah.
Him on
I'm
those
gonna have
types
to.
of beats.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it because I am woefully out of touch when it comes to Czarface or Stress
Oh
Eater
no,
or
no,
whatever the name of the group is
Stress
now.
Eater's the Stress Eater is the new character
Ah, gotcha.
according to them in their universe. But no, it's dope though. It's just dope. I just love the concept of the albums and the beats and the scratching and sometimes the beat is an instrumental or it's 28 seconds or
Yeah,
sometimes this song is hard as can be and it's 41 seconds. Like it's just
it's
because it was hard and it scratches and some of them feel like mixtapes
yeah,
and some of them feel like they're mastered. Like they feel like they're mastered did not feel mastered. Like they just feel
kind
raw.
of grimy. Yeah,
I love that. Like
yeah.
the Sky Zoo album, when I said this feels like it's on a vinyl record. Like I feel like I'm listening.
Oh,
I'm listening.
super warm. Yeah,
I'm listening on ridiculous monitors through lossless, and I'm like, yeah, this feels like it's a vinyl. Like it's just it doesn't feel like a tape deck or something. Like it's. I love that.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So
No,
the big
mastering engineer
news.
killed it.
Hey, the big news is you have some kind of beer or something going on. I don't condone drinking beer at
Yeah,
all, but you have a
actually,
beer coming out. So tell us, what is this? It's like My Little Beer or something like that, or
no, it's
like
so it's
herpes beer. Okay, something about scratch.
it's a collaboration we're doing with Shred Beer in
Oh, Shred.
Auburn, and great beer company. Master brewer, wins all kinds of things, and the guy actually happens to be a scratch DJ, and we're putting out a beer. We're gonna have a release launch party on December 28th at Shred. There's gonna be some beat sets for myself, for my boy SetPiece, and HeyZeusGetLoose. Uh, yeah, we're gonna have koozies. It's gonna be a good time. It's yeah, it's super cool. You know what I mean? We go have sessions and just cut it up and talk beer. So like, if you like craft beer and fresh beats, come out. I'll
Now, uh, where will this beer be available? 7-Eleven,
I
AM,
know actually
AM,
right now
PM.
I'm not sure what the distribution is going to be at it,
But
but
what
you
if you go to
can.
AM, PM? Hear me out, and you get one of those cheap hamburgers they have and get a beer.
Well, I mean, if we can get them into AM PM, then by all means we'll do it. But the
And
one
here
cool,
comes the capitalism.
yeah, well, the one cool thing about the beer too is that
Capitalism.
so we all no, we all produce beats, and there's a QR code on the label. When you scan the QR code, it'll take you directly to a playlist for rappers, scratch
Never
DJs,
gonna give
just
you
people
up.
want to vibe. So
Yeah,
it's super cool, and I'm hella stoked about
it's a
it. And
cool concept.
this is like the first time that I've played out in years since I've retired, so it'll be a good
But
time.
but don't hold back. It sounds like a cool song. Don't hold back. You had said that Jason Kelsey's new beer, Garage Beer, was trash and yours was better. So go ahead and speak to that. I don't understand because I don't drink
Oh,
beer.
oh, 100%. Like
100%. And you
yeah,
said something about like you would body slam him or something.
yeah, yes.
Like you said,
That's
you said the day I see him,
yeah.
I'm
No, it's
challenging him or to a wrestling match.
it's on absolutely for
And you said you
100%
could
for
defend the
sure.
line or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get him like we'll get him on the show. We could talk about it. Like I've seen him in some luchador masks before, so who knows?
Dude, did you see the size of him at WrestleMania?
Yeah, he's a big dude.
It's just a big dude. That's why I didn't
Yeah.
understand that stupid kid
No,
from Penn
the
State.
kid that
Like, come
ran
on.
up on him. No.
Dude, yeah, again, pick your battles, buddy. Pick your
Oh
battles.
yeah, like that was the dumbest thing ever. Like all jokes aside, like that dude could have just been mollywopped within an inch of his life. So I don't know. I guess
One of the funniest things I ever witnessed was a fight in New Jersey at a Wawa. I get out, I'm walking in. All of a sudden, I hear these two guys yelling, and like everybody else, I turn and we look, and it's a larger dude, not fat. I mean, like just a big guy, and a smaller guy who it just looks wired for kicking ass. And part of me was like, that little guy's gonna do it. Like it's the little guy. That's the threat. You could tell there was something about it. And sure enough, the guy gets close to him, and the little dude hit him twice, and he fell flat back on his back. Then the little guy, like a true gentleman, walks over and like slaps his face to wake him and goes, "Come on, get up. You're all right." And then the little guy just goes inside completely unbothered.
yeah. I mean, some people are built for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm saying that guy had no instincts. Like when you see Jason Kelsey, I guess it's easier because he's just, first of all, he's famous. You know what he did for a living, but he's
Yeah.
massive.
Yeah.
And the fact that I think that he's not immediately reacting to you makes it a little scary, that he just keeps walking and doesn't say anything at first and just trying to avoid it. Like you're poking it. But this guy,
He
the big
pushed
guy
him
just
in the
didn't,
back.
yeah, he just didn't realize the little guy was just yelling back. But then when you walked up and grabbed him, I don't know. It was just funny, but I always thought it was hilarious. Like he's all, "Get up, you're okay." And I'm like, oh my God. So I would have got in my car and just drove off.
He bought him a sandwich and a water.
Here you go, pal. Now have a foot long. But no, I was just like, but the guy just clapped, boom, boom. And I'm like, oh, everybody was just like, damn. But then inside you see the smaller guy in there getting his stuff, and he's just fine. He's completely unbothered. He's not,
Yeah. I
he's
mean,
not
you
even,
never
he wasn't even wired from the fight. He was
Yeah.
just unbothered.
you never knew who was like a boxer or got hands or has just been in so many fights. But you know
No.
what? Probably with that little dude, he's probably been in so many fights. That's why he was just like, are we doing this again? And
You
just
know,
like
it's like,
hit him with a two-piece and chilled.
Like you could think you're a good fighter or whatever because you've been in fights, or it's fine. It's totally true. I don't know. But then I don't want to be the guy who fights the untrained fighter, who, like say, "I'm trained to fight and I know all these methods and I can kick your ass." Okay. And I could, most people are going to lose to me. But this guy has gotten in street fights twice a week for the last 20 years. I'm not fighting that dude. He's probably a better
No,
fighter
absolutely
than
not.
he's a scrapper. No, like, I don't know. I just think I always think it's funny too when people like go to karate as adults and like, "Oh, I'm in karate." No one cares, pal. Stop it.
Shout to Jay-Z for that one.
Wait.
36 in a karate class.
Yeah. Speaking of Jay-Z, wow.
Oof.
Ooh. Allegedly,
Yeah.
he raped a 13-year-old girl with Diddy and, quote, female celebrity A, which everyone's going to assume it's J-Lo, because that's who Diddy was around at the time. That's insane. I do got to say this, though. They sure seem to be catching the black pedophiles, but not the white ones.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, huh?
And you can't say because the white one was rich, because those dudes are billionaires. So
Yeah. Well,
they're rich.
I mean, some of them are just in Congress or were.
yeah, but power is power. But I mean, like,
Right.
strange.
Yeah. Nobody on the Epstein list, huh?
Like, I do not want to believe Jay-Z did that. I do not want to
No.
believe that was true. I don't want to believe that it was J-Lo sitting there watching. I do not want to believe that because, man, I don't even want to believe that about Puffy, and I don't like the dude from personal reasons back at the radio station. He's a jerk. But you know what? I don't want to believe that, but specific to Puffy, where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Like at one
Yeah.
point you're like, there's something burning over here. It's smoke at like, and I'm starting to think he might be guilty just on the fact that several different judges have been like, "We reviewed, you're not getting bail." One guy told him, "You're not getting out until you're found guilty. I mean, until you're found not guilty." And I'm not so sure that's going to happen. That's what they
Yeah.
Can you imagine a judge
No.
telling you that? A federal judge? You're cooked.
No. Yeah.
Federal-
I mean,
a federal
99%
judge.
conviction rate. Like, yeesh.
Yeah, well, they waited, and apparently this case for Jay-Z apparently was first filed in October. Then they dropped it. Then they came back and refiled it or something with, I guess, more evidence. But they've been looking into this case for over a year,
Yeah.
which means the FBI is already in his business.
Yeah.
dude. And then he was out at some movie premiere for that Mustafa movie for the Lion King or whatever, with his daughter and his wife. And I'm like, but people brought up good points. She was 16 when he was dating her, and he was 29.
Really?
Yeah, that's creepy.
No, I don't remember that, but yeah, that is
That's creepy, right? But
super
then he also
creepy.
has he raps about it in one song where he raps like a creep about grooming some like 16-year-old kid. It was weird. And then he, buddies with R. Kelly, buddies with Puffy. Like, ugh.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. They all knew what was going on. You know what I mean? It's not. I mean, it's public knowledge. You know what I mean? Dame Dash has talked about the whole Aaliyah thing with R.
It's
Kelly,
another
and
one, Aaliyah.
yeah,
He was a
I mean,
kid.
well, I mean,
Age
she
ain't
was
nothing but a number was the
she.
biggest in your
And
face.
R. Kelly married her at 14. Like, and
Ugh.
I remember when Kurt Loder was talking about that on
Yeah.
like MTV News because that's how old I am.
Loader.
Yeah. And
Dude, he's 70. He's 70.
I know, dude. I was like, oh, but
I
yeah, I
know.
remember hearing that and being like, whoa. And then they interviewed like Aaliyah's mom, and they're like, no, we went to the judge and got that annulled. Like, what?
Yeah, I remember that. Did you see Beyonce's mother like the post that was posting about him being charged or sued for this?
No.
And also
Uh-uh.
that response he posted like within minutes. First of all, no one wrote that for him. No PR person, no lawyer, nothing. Not a single professional person in that role would have allowed him to have posted that. His manager should not have allowed him to post that. He fired off the most dumb thinking stuff, which I think exposes him for not being that bright. Talented, not bright.
Well, I saw somebody that said, man, that came out way too quick. You know, that was sitting in drafts. So
It's
like,
what it felt like. It was
yeah.
out so fast. Or maybe he dictated it and it came out unnatural or something. But no, you got billions of dollars. I'm going to assume you can afford some really cool
Good
lawyers.
PR. Yeah. Well, I'm sure
Well,
he's got
those
great.
lawyers are going to, you call a lawyer for this and your Jay-Z, the lawyer doesn't respond to you. The lawyer and his other team of lawyers and their team of PR and their team of agents and their team of
Yeah.
this all respond to you. You're
Yeah,
going
the
to
new
have 50 people working on this.
yeah, the new dream team rolls through.
You know what though? You cannot hate on OJ's lawyers.
No, hey, listen, Johnny
That's
Cochran was
the
from Memphis, and that
no,
that dude had billboards everywhere after that.
I did not know
Everywhere.
that, but let me tell you something. Does that fit? Wow. It fits. But my point
Hey,
is you can't hate on his lawyers.
no, they did what they were
That's what
supposed to do. They were
they're
defense
supposed to
lawyers.
defend
Yeah.
him. Yeah. I mean, that's what they're good lawyers.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't want a lawyer doing that for you, if you were trying to get away with killing your ex-wife.
Yeah.
No, he did it. Stop it. Stop it.
Oh
Everybody
no,
knows that.
everybody knows that. Come on.
He killed it, please. But I mean, who are we kidding? But it's like, it's weird. It's funny. My daughter asked me once, she goes, was OJ Simpson like super famous? I was like, oh, you have no idea. He was like an American hero.
Yeah. I mean,
He
the
was, he was,
the
he
the
was, he
Hertz
was a
commercials,
like
you
Bill
know, the
Cosby,
movie. Yeah.
national treasure.
Yeah.
And I don't care what technicality he got out on. You were convicted for rapes, dude. And you admitted giving people roofies and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
cool.
Well, it was, talking about OJ, I was the last time I flew home from Memphis, I was running through the airport and I made the joke. I'm like, man, I'm running through the airport like OJ. And like
Ah,
nobody got the joke. And I was like, there was some older guy that was there. He was like, Hertz commercial. I got you.
yeah.
And everybody else looked at me like, why did he just make a murder your wife joke? Like, what is this dude psycho? And I was like, ooh, maybe that joke doesn't land anymore because nobody realizes what OJ was back in the day.
He was a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, Puffy and Jay-Z are big deals. Like if they end up convicted of this, it's gonna be like what? You know what I mean? Like, but here's the thing: if Puffy gets convicted, and I'm starting to really, really
Oh,
believe that's gonna happen.
he's gonna roll on everybody.
Well, that's my thing. There's too many people
Oh,
that were constantly around him.
they said he has like 96 terabytes of like
Yeah,
information
I've seen
on
that.
hard drives. Dude, he had all of his places wired for audio, video, everything.
Yep.
He's got blackmail on everyone,
It was,
hands down.
Epstein. That's why Epstein killed himself.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Who are we kidding? And they got Puffy apparently in the cell right next to him.
really, the same one that he allegedly killed himself in.
Oh no, he killed himself because they told us so.
Oh, right. I got that. Forgot
Excuse
about
me. Law enforcement works very hard. Like they caught hey, they caught
Ah.
Luigi,
that. Oh, hey.
right? Well, I mean,
Well,
Well, here's the thing.
maybe.
They caught Luigi somehow, and the guy has a mask on in the pictures, but I think the story's not Luigi.
No,
I
definitely
just
not.
don't think it is. I think the story is, and if for those that are blind, and again, I'm blind and deaf and dumb to news because I block it all. But again, there's some stories like this, you're not avoiding it. The CEO of US Healthcare, or United Health, was murdered in New York City last week for existing.
Yeah.
And this guy popped him and walked off and basically was on his way to getting away with it. And everybody was celebrating and picking sides and trying to assign labels to the guy, left or right, communist. I seen people saying he was a communist because he had part of the Communist Manifesto in his backpack or something, or that they found. I don't know. And then somebody said he was MAGA. They could feel it in their bones. And I'm like, you're all idiots. Because the story's not about him. The story is, to me, that everyone suddenly was celebrating the death of a guy who honestly wasn't doing anything. He was crossing the street. So he is the victim. That is true. And he wasn't, was beefing with the guy or nothing. It wasn't cold blood. He was innocent of it. But the response is that, oh, we're happy because he's healthcare CEO.
I mean,
that's the story.
That should speak volumes. Like, and it was across political spectrums. People were like, meh.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
literally, like nobody cared. They were just like, oh well.
And then they were celebrating the guy and having lookalike contests like him. And his coat the coat and the person's wearing in that one picture sold out everywhere. They can't get it anywhere. It's been sold out. Like, it's crazy.
I mean, also that's like the last thing I would be doing if this guy was on the loose, because
I wouldn't be dressing like him.
yeah, absolutely not. When I saw that in New York, I was like, guys, maybe not the time to do this or at all. Like, what are you doing? Like, you got like, all these trigger happy cops and FBI and everybody else in New York, and you want to be like, oh, I kind of look like this dude. That'd be the last thing that I would do. I would be wearing like sweatpants and a do-rag. Like, no, I'm not gonna try to look like this.
What gets me is the response. Like, so now he's arrested, right? And they found out he's Luigi. So this guy's like super Italian, right? And all of a sudden, Luigi hats are selling out online. You can't get them. They're sold out. And if you get on the Nintendo store, apparently they're all sold out. Amazon, they're all sold out. I'm like, this is nuts. But why aren't we talking about why people hate healthcare system in this country so much?
Yeah. I mean,
we both have benefited from healthcare in this country. We have to be honest, this year. We have both benefited from it, where we didn't go broke.
No.
But we still both admit we hate it.
Exactly. Absolutely. It's a
something
terrible
wrong. If it's something that actually benefited me this year, you think I'd be happy with it. I'm glad I had it, but I still hate it. It is not the right system.
No, it's terrible. And like the fact that, you said that it was the reaction to this. It's like you could pick any random person off the street and be like, what do you think about healthcare? And their first response is going to be like, it's fucking awful. You know what
bad.
I mean?
It's got to be fixed, or it's a negative response.
Denied claims, fighting with insurance companies, all these other things, and not a single politician will address it. And like, honestly, I'm surprised this didn't happen earlier, because it's like,
I'm surprised too.
You can only push people so far until like they're finally just like, well, I guess this guy got to go, and it's insane.
My thought is, I'm surprised someone did get killed before, like because of a angry father who's like, you denied my son's claim and he died. There was a doctor posted. All these people were posting, and I've been trying to be very careful. Like when they say they're a doctor, I go look at their bio, and I even was like, searching some of their names to find them. And I'm like, oh, this one lady, I'm not going to say her name. She was actually a doctor. I found the hospital. She's a doctor. She is a doctor for 20 years or something. And she said she had a patient, and she needed the little girl came in, and she had all these seizures, and the seizures were going to end up messing her up. Right. Yeah. And they said, you got to have this treatment, whatever that was, treatment, medication, whatever, you have this treatment. The insurance says, no, that's not our preferred treatment. Our preferred treatment is this treatment here. And the doctors were like, that's not going to help. Actually, this other treatment is going to help. They said, well, we need to try the first treatment, our preferred treatment first. And they're like, it's just going to cause her more seizures.
Yeah. I mean,
so the doctors gave it to her anyway, gave her the right treatment anyway.
Good.
And they fought on behalf of the patients. They're like, you can't do that.
I mean, for-profit healthcare is just disgusting to begin with. You know what I mean?
Illegal until 1973.
you know what? You beat me to the punch. It's just like, why are Americans so like okay with that? Like
No
your
idea.
your health is a line item budget. And
Yeah.
there's somebody at a health company that's going to look at it and go, we can save X amount of dollars, and then boom, that you don't get
Well,
it. Like when I went for my surgical consult for my foot, first of all, it was $8,000 to see a surgeon,
and
just to see a surgeon.
tell us what a consult is. He came in
Uh,
and talked to you.
yeah, basically he came in, he looked at my foot, go, went over like the things that I'm going to need to do to rehab my foot, took some x-rays, wrote out a letter to say, you can't work because you can't stand on your foot. And then he's like, okay, we're going to put you in a walking boot. And I was like, perfect, great. I'm so sick of a hard cast. I just want it off. Then the nurse proceeds to say, well, we have to run it through insurance to make sure that he qualifies for it. And my surgeon just looks at the nurse and goes, he's got a broken heel. They're going to
Yeah.
put it through, or I will. And she comes back with it. And I was like, okay. She's like, well, I don't know. It hasn't gone through insurance yet. I was like, well, how much is it? And she's like, it's $250. I'm like, fine, I don't care. Just give me the boot. Like, I need this to be able to like heal, you know?
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, how am I going to know if it doesn't go through? She goes, oh, you'll get a bill. Like, what? Why do I
Yeah.
need to go to see like the surgeon who is a podiatrist who went to school for, I'm assuming, 8 years, telling me I need this
Oh, at
boot?
least 8 years. If he's a
And they
surgeon, it's like 8 to 12.
probably. And then he has to go to some guy that sits in an office to say, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, do it. Like, what? Like
Well,
it's just disgusting.
I have a similar story. The day I was being let out of the hospital from the heart attack, the surgeon says, in 2 weeks, you got to go get a chest X-ray, blah blah blah, and then I'll see the results. Okay, fine. He goes, but I got to call and get a prior authorization first.
Like,
So I was
what?
like, what? He's, yeah, believe it or not, the insurance wants a prior authorization. I said, they approved and paid for the quadruple bypass.
Right.
4 surgeries too, by the way, and one of them was and they paid for that, and they're not an X-ray is what they're going to beef over. And he's like, yeah, well. And anyway, he came back and said, okay, it's approved. He fought it. He called him himself. I was like, he's getting an
Yeah.
X-ray. What do you do? And I said, how long did you go to school? He goes, 16 years.
Exactly.
He went to school for 16 years, and they already approved the heart care and the hospital stay and all that stuff. You think that $300 the X-ray or whatever, $200 X-ray
Hey,
would be covered? What do that's what you're beefing over? But my
that
beef was,
profit margin.
I get a bill from the hospitals, and I asked, I email them and said, can you itemize this bill, please, including diagnosis codes, blah, 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 blah. And they don't like that, but they have
No.
by law they're required to provide it. So 3 weeks later, I get this huge bill and I'm going through it. But the total was like in half now because they now have to itemize it. They can't
Right.
pad it.
Just
So
inflate it. Yeah.
yeah, I see one where it says physical therapist. Now I remember that day. I was in the hospital and the physical therapist came in, introduced herself, and says, I want to see if you can do a couple things for me. Totally get it. Absolutely. I've been laying there for like 23 days. I get it, right? And I sit on the edge of the bed and she goes, can you lift your knee up, please? And lift your left knee up like you're taking a step, but I'm still sitting. So I did that. And your right foot. Okay. Yeah, I think you need a little more strength, a little more rest before we continue. And she left. And that bill was like $1,800.
Yeah.
That
It's,
line,
it's
line
insane.
item, that line item was like $1,800.
Good Lord.
That doesn't make no sense. But that's why people are celebrating the death of this guy. And
Yeah.
I don't actually think they're celebrating the death of, I don't want to say his name. I don't think they're celebrating the death of him. I think they're just celebrating the idea of him.
Well, yeah. I mean,
They are.
he's the figurehead of the person that is making
Yeah.
your life
But
way
also,
more difficult for money.
the media also adds fuel to the fire at the same time while they're calling him out for saying stuff by saying his company denied claims at 33% higher rates than the other company, the next closest. And, well, you're just making it sound like that too. You're pissing people off.
Yeah.
I guess
mean,
the point to all this, I guess, is we're all cooks because the Americans don't do nothing. And the easiest thing to do in this country is literally just to vote for someone else, which we've been trying to do. They just cheat.
Yeah.
You know what else works too? If you don't want to be violent, because I would like to avoid all of the civil war and violence, right? I would like to avoid all of that. Stay home and do a general strike for a week.
Yeah. I
Literally,
mean,
stay home.
that's that. If there was a general strike and you shut it down for a week, I mean, look,
Dude, if it
look,
lasted a day and a half, they'd be like,
look
whoa.
what happened during lockdown. You know what I mean? Like that it was like, oh, people that go to work actually can affect policy, and like, oh my God, like if we don't get this back online,
Yeah.
what's going to happen? And people just lose the momentum with things like that. It's like you got to stay at least somewhat aware of situations like that because it's like you said, everybody was a kind of collective meh. And I
Yeah.
mean, if that doesn't speak to politicians and the people that like run this country, like, man, like you are so out of touch. And I mean, and the first response from the healthcare industry was, "Oh, we got to take the pictures of our CEOs
Well,
offline."
that's the thing. They're
Why would you do
hiding.
that? Exactly. I
Well,
mean, like if you don't, if you like, if you think that what you do is fine, then why hide?
yeah, that, yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. Well, no, you could hide because there's a deranged person killing CEO executives, maybe, but they know they're not liked. They
Yeah.
know they're hated and despised. That alone should be like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, and
But
then
yeah,
the guy that was the head over that dude's company went on like a margins call right after that and basically just said, "Yeah, we're going to keep screwing people over because we're making a ton of money." Like, dude, read the room. Like, what are you talking
yeah.
about?
It's weird too. I thought I think if I say I was supposed to attend that, it was a shareholder meeting, right? Say I was
Yeah.
supposed to attend that meeting, and then I'm like, whoa, he got shot, murdered in the middle of the street. No, I'm good today.
Yeah.
I'm good. Not because you probably feel bad and all, but also at the same time, like, I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to post up in here. I'm not doing that right at this moment.
Oh,
Where's the shooter?
they stepped over his body and went right to the
And the
meeting.
stocks went up. The stocks went up that day.
That's the even more insane part. Like, what? This country
People
is
don't,
cooked.
people hate it here. I mean, there's no such thing as free healthcare. It has to be paid for somehow, whether it comes out of taxes, whether they pay
And
for it,
there's
how
no
we're
such
doing it
thing as
now.
a free military. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's called
And they
like,
both have to exist. That's what I'm saying. So we have to pay for it, but why can't we do it a better way?
yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. That's the one thing I really hate about whenever the health insurance comes
Would
up.
you be
It's
happy? Would you be happy with them taking a chunk of your paycheck every week?
absolutely,
And then, no, and then that's it. And then so that way you're like, okay, fine.
yeah.
That way then if I don't,
I
but
would much.
what safeguards do you have in place where a bureaucrat doesn't get to make a decision on if you get coverage or approval of something?
I mean,
Because the government's not so good at that.
yeah. I mean, neither are healthcare companies.
No, I
You
know, but I
know,
mean, but
I
right
mean,
now,
the
I think the government would do a worse job at it at the moment.
I mean, you told me about your healthcare, and it seems like the
Yeah.
government's kind of doing their job there. I mean, also
Well,
the Pentagon,
there's price caps,
right?
which
But
is a
that's
good
what I'm.
thing.
Well, and
By the
the
way,
Pentagon.
if you have an exchange in your state, compare your healthcare on your exchange. Don't be a cuck because it has Obama's name on it. Go look because my exact same plan, if I buy direct, is several $1,000s a
Which
month
is insane.
because I had a heart
Insane.
attack, but yet it's less than $1,000 a month. Otherwise, and on top of that, it's the exact same coverage, but all the copays and the out-of-pocket maximums are price capped because the prices are capped. There's price restrictions. So go look and do yourself a favor. It's insane.
Yeah.
But also it was bad too. You know what people are going to make people hate Obamacare when you penalize them $600 if they don't buy it.
Yeah. That was the one part where I was like, are you
Stupid.
serious right now? So you're forcing us to buy insurance, and if you can't afford it, we're gonna fine
Pay a
you for
fine.
not being able to afford it? Good
And if you
Lord.
couldn't afford it, that $600 is going to break you when it's tax time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's going to break you. It's either going to prevent your, when someone gets a $500 tax return and they're like jumping on the clouds and doing cartwheels, that means they're broke, man.
Yeah.
That money makes all the, because $500 is not a lot. That makes all the money in the world. Means all the difference in the world. And we have to do better in this country. And I think it's our fault, the citizens. It is our fault. We vote the same people in, regardless. It's like specific cities, like Detroit sucks. Stop voting for the same party for the past 50 or 60 years. Try something different. That's an example. Stop here. Stop voting for the same thing. All you're doing is voting for the same Democratic Party that existed for the past 25 years. It sucks.
Yeah. And I mean, it's no different than Texas. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
look at, Greg Abbott and like their AG was literally under like federal indictment for what, like 7 years?
Yeah.
Like Ken
You know what?
Paxton.
This is another thing too.
It's
I'm sick
insane.
of this. I'm sick of elected leaders being under indictment or investigation because a lot of it, which is true, a lot of it is just because everybody's flexing on each other, trying to indict each other. It's like, what the hell's going on? Stop. It's just, this is dumb.
Also,
It's
just
awful.
don't commit crimes, I guess. I don't know.
Well, that would help. But you know what's funny is AOC removed all her pronouns from her bios online, all her
I don't-
social media, on her website. Soon as Kamala Harris lost, because they had data that came back that says people were over the wokeism instead of actual policy, effective policy change.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean,
But what a surprise,
even,
right?
even in Kamala Harris's campaign, she didn't really talk about that. She didn't talk about gender issues. She didn't talk about race issues.
She didn't, but the party did.
I don't really. I mean,
Her
did they,
surrogates
though?
did. Yeah, her surrogates did.
I mean,
And the data shows people were just like over it. Here's the thing, and I don't think that's people saying, negative towards the gender issues. I think that's people saying, I don't care. I can't afford my health care. My grocery bill's too high. That's what people are saying. That's what it is. They want actual change.
Yeah,
Stuff.
well, and I mean,
it
it wasn't the culture war thing. It was the fact that they didn't address material.
They didn't address anything. They didn't
I mean,
address anything.
neither one of them did really. Like that's why I was just like, I'm not voting for either one of you idiots because you didn't address any of the concerns that I have. God.
No, no, it's impossible for them to like say address all of my concerns and needs. Clearly.
No, but the big
But
ones.
some
I
of
mean,
them, healthcare is a good one to start. Trump's been saying, I have the best plan. Then say the plan. What is it? Because if it's
doesn't
good,
have a plan.
I know. Because if he had one and it was actually that good, I would high five that dude and try to get it passed. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, but that's
If I seen it, I might go, oh, yes, I want that. I don't care who makes it. Anyway, I seen we're running out of time, but I seen too recently where someone says, I hope Trump fails. I hope he's the biggest failure in the history of the country. I'm like, I actually don't. I need our president to succeed for the good of the people in a way that benefits the people so we don't fail. I can't, we're all cucks. We're all happy about this guy being dead for the wrong reasons. No one's speaking up. They're going to distract us so we don't talk about healthcare over this guy's death because that's what they're doing. Let's all make memes and boost the posts about Luigi memes and costumes. This is all dumb and no one buys enough music.
That is true.
I'm serious. Buy more music. It'll solve all your problems. You'll meet a girl and, make sure she's not, 16 like Beyonce was when Jay-Z started dating her. Allegedly, I'm just saying that's weird. I'm just saying.
Rude.